Future wars going to be short, precise and decisive, and those conflicts may require decisions to be made within hours, minutes or potentially seconds compared with the current multi-day process to analyze the operating environment and issue commands. US military is world's biggest force, yet US military leadership has growing realization the Defense Department's existing command and control architecture is insufficient to meet the demands of the National Defense Strategy. To meet the challenge, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has signed the department's first ever comprehensive strategy for Joint All-Domain Command and Control (JADC2), DoD's sweeping efforts to digitally interconnect its weapon systems and sensors from all services like Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, Navy and Space Force into a single network. Traditionally, each of the military services developed its own tactical network that was incompatible with those of the other services. For example, Army network were unable to interface with Navy or Air Force networks. Pentagon confirmed that the Secretary Austin signed the document on May 13th. The strategy itself is classified, but the department is working to an unclassified summary for public consumption that's nearly finished.
What the JADC2 strategy does is it does bring order to our efforts in the command and control arena to sense, make sense, and act, all at the speed of relevance. And that last piece is what makes this different. If you have time to act, maybe if you rewind the clock a bit back to maybe Cold War thinking, or maybe where we control the operational time and tempo, that time is an interesting factor. It gives you the opportunity to study, to learn, and to be a little more deliberate on your actions. But when you enter the age of things like hypersonics or artificial intelligence enabled actions, that time differential or that time availability shrinks or evaporates altogether. So what once may have been a warfighting advantage has now become a warfighting necessity.
Joint All-Domain Command and Control can best be described by drawing an analogy to Uber, which combines two different apps, one for rider and another for driver. Uber algorithm determines the optimal match based on distance, travel time and passenger, among other variables. The application then seamlessly provides direction for the driver to follow, delivering the passenger to their destination. Uber relies on cellular and Wi-Fi networks to transmit data to match riders and provide driving instructions. JADC2 envisions providing a cloud-like environment for the joint force to share intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance data, transmitting across many communication networks to enable faster decision-making. JADC2 intends to enable commanders to make better decisions by collecting data from numerous sensors, processing the data using artificial intelligence algorithms to identify targets, then recommending the optimal weapon, both kinetic and non-kinetic, for example cyber or electronic weapons, to engage the target. However, questions of reliability and transferring human decision-making to an artificial intelligence system still loom large.
One aspect to characterize JADC2 would also be on its data-centric focus. It is all about the data, which makes this different. You might have characterized other efforts over the past decade or two on boxes or hardware, or even in some cases, standards themselves. This is a bit different. It balances or seeks to balance the need to secure the data that's necessary to feed these algorithms and make these decisions with the necessity to share that information at speed. And those two things at times are at odds with each other.
US military services are already having convergence, including the Army's Project Convergence, the Air Force's Advanced Battle Management System, and Navy Project Overmatch, but that capability does not match anywhere with US adversaries like Russia or China. The future operating environment, articulated by the NDS Commission and other sources, describes how potential adversaries have developed sophisticated anti-access area denial capabilities. These capabilities include electronic warfare, cyber warfare, long-range missiles, and advanced air defenses. US competitors have pursued A2AD capabilities as a means of countering traditional US military advantages, such as the ability to project power and improving their ability to win quick, decisive engagements.
It also helps us integrate some of these key technologies we've been trying to do in the department for some time. It gives us our best chance to do that. Things like artificial intelligence at scale, machine learning, predictive analytics, and the like. These are all enabling requirements for us to execute that decision advantage at the tactical edge. It allows us to do some best-of-breed picking on who is solving those problems the best way. And more importantly, what we're going to avoid is vendor lock or proprietary solutions, which have plagued us in the past. We want this to be open source. We want to use the same technology and mindset our industry partners use today. From a partner perspective, this has our mission partners and allies as a forethought, not as an afterthought.
The JADC2 concept aims to not only interconnect all of the military's weapon systems, but to layer in advanced technologies like machine learning, artificial intelligence, and predictive analytics. Of the three military departments, the Air Force is perhaps the farthest along in its experimentation. Last month, US Air Force officials said they were ready to move the project from a purely theoretical phase to one where it will now be buying hardware and software to deploy abroad real-world weapon systems, starting with new data pods to be installed on the service's KC-46 refueling tanker.
For all the solutions that we talk about, and they tend to be technical IT or CIO type thinking, where we start with garrison solutions and then eventually work our way to the tactical edge and what it would look like in an austere warfight, where maybe the bandwidth would be restricted or our environment would be challenged. We're taking a different look at JADC2. We're starting on the tactical edge and working backwards.
DoD has held at least two major JADC2 exercises. The first, held in Florida in December 2019, focused on a simulated cruise missile threats. The exercise presented the first demonstration of ABMS, Air Force and Navy aircraft including F-22 and F-35 fighter jets, a Navy destroyer, an Army Sentinel radar system, a mobile artillery system, plus commercial space and ground sensors demonstrated being able to collect, analyze, and share data in real time to provide a fuller picture of the operating environment. DoD performed a second test of JADC2 in July 2020. During this test, Air Force aircraft connected with naval vessels positioned in Black Sea, along with the Special Operation Forces and 8 other NATO nations, in a simulated environment to counter a potential Russian threat. Other priorities for US would be to devise an identity management solution for JADC2 and institutionalizing agile software development.
We have to set some things right in the department. And the first one is the definition of a federated data fabric. Identity, credentials, and management. This idea of determining your authenticity on the network. If we don't have real ICAM solutions, it will be impossible to have a cloud-based environment that brings you data, the right data, to an authenticated person at the right time and place. So that's an area we're looking at. Software development. Professionally developed, nimble, containerized, upgradable software versus software that is locked, almost impossible to change, and can't be adapted, again, in those areas of the fight we expect to be. So those are a few, and I would probably throw in some network enhancements.
A DoD-wide cloud computing platform, one with capabilities that can be extended to the tactical edge, will also be critical to JADC2's success, whether the enterprise cloud is JD or different eventual product. US military officials say the Defense Department has access to enough commercial cloud capabilities via other contracts for its current JADC2 needs.
The delivery of JADC2 is dependent on a robust, purpose-built cloud for the environment that we need to operate in. We want data sharing. We want to have the ability to fuse data sets together in ways that are nimble, like industry does today, meaning we have to share a little bit of the backside of how those things work. So meeting us at speed, less about boxes, again, less about vendor lock, more real open way of doing business, and to move at speed. Identity management. We need to be able to do that in a deployed environment. And I have been critical. The industry solutions that we've been offered don't work in the area I need them to work. They work great in the national capital region. They don't work really well in an austere environment coming out of the back of an airplane or at sea. And that's where we're starting.
The delivery of joint all-domain command and control is dependent on a robust, purpose-built cloud for the environment that US need to operate in, and perhaps it requires legal sanctions for which US National Defense Authorization Act has two provisions. for future warfare. Pakistan in August 2020 has started Center for Artificial Intelligence and Computing with the help of China, and recently UK's Royal Navy successfully tested the accuracy and effectiveness of artificial intelligence to defeat supersonic, ballistic and cruise missiles attack for the first time at sea. India, being surrounded by potential adversaries, cannot ignore the developments happening, leapfrogging warfare generations. Thanks for watching. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.